Time to shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got me a fellow veteran here, although he was with the Australian Army a little bit after me, but he's a total rock star. My boy Finnian Kelly. You know, he has a website called financiallyhappy.com. So make sure you check that out after you're done listening to this awesome interview with my buddy Finnian Kelly. Is the creator of the Financially Happy Movement, a world-renowned keynote speaker, and an intentional living guide. As the creator of Financially Happy, Finnian empowers women to connect their money with their spiritual past so they can transform their relationship with money and feel happy and wealthy. As a sought-after speaker and event facilitator, Finnian has been dubbed the business mystic. I'm going to get into that for sure, because of his unique ability to put consciousness into enterprise and inspire entrepreneurs to find new levels of meaning and purpose through their business. As an intentional living guide and as a leader in the breathwork field, Finnian helps people love their ways. They said love their way, so they can feel content with a life lived in the now, the present, being mindful. So Finnian, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Thanks so much, Scott. My favorite color is yellow, and what it means is the sun. It's light, it's fun, it's playful.
You're in Colorado, man. Are you getting some sun out there?
We always get sun.
It's that's crazy.
So much sun. Sometimes it's melting my snow, which is a challenge, but it's beautiful.
Love it, brother. No, again, man, I really appreciate you coming on. But let's get into a little bit of the origins of Finnian here and kind of get us a 30,000-foot view, if you will, and then we'll move into Financially Happy. We
could go down a dangerous path here, Scott. My origin story. We were just talking about I'm a Tassie devil. I actually grew up in Tasmania, Australia. I was born in Sydney, but then soon moved to Tasmania. I was brought up on a farm, and it's an important origin story. I believe where we are now is often where we come from. We all have family of origin stories, and I had a family of origin story which for a long time served me in a lot of regards, because I wanted to keep proving myself. I wanted to have success because I was almost running away from my childhood. And it worked brilliantly for quite a long time. It sent me off to the army. I became an army officer. I have multiple degrees. I started multiple businesses until the point where it no longer served me anymore, because I realized I was running away from something which was really love with myself. And that's where I've been on the journey the last few years, which has been pretty awesome.
That's awesome. So what was your fork in the road moment then, Finnian, that really said, okay, man, I'm going to level up myself and then help others level up?
So what's interesting is I've always been doing that. That's been part of my true nature. I've been always being better, more growth. And I've always been sharing that. So as an army officer, as you know, like you're leading people from 20 years old. I was in charge of anywhere from 30 to 100 people from 17 to age 15. There's a lot of responsibility, so you pass it on. And then when you become an entrepreneur and you build a financial business, you're guiding and coaching. But the big aha moment was actually when I achieved my full vision, the vision for my life. I was living in a mansion in a ski resort in Beaver Creek, Colorado. I was married. There was a lot of really great things going on. I was financially independent. And it was at that point where I'd achieved everything that I thought that I wanted, was the aha moment, that I wasn't fulfilled. I was actually had time to deal with myself, and my life sort of effectively did a bit of a combustion and blew up in that period. And that's when I was like, okay, it's time to really get to know myself. Like, stop operating from a place from really other people's influences, being the person that I thought that I was using a lot of family of origin stories and a lot of their influence to make my own decisions. And I was like, this isn't really me. So that embarked on a big spiritual journey. I spent a few months alone in my house after I separated with my ex-wife. I then went and walked the Camino del Santiago pilgrimage, which is a 500 mile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spain. And just went on a big discovery. And that's when I realized, I had been living a life of intentionality, but it wasn't my true nature. And that's where I had to discover. And that's where I've been going for the last 4 years. And I've now been sharing the philosophy that I created and discovered myself with others to really help them live a life of intentionality as well.
I love it that you said you had to, for lack of a better term, find yourself. You know, I was the same thing, brother. I had a lot of abandonment issues, child slavery, stuff like that, right? But did you find yourself pulling a lot of that shit forward through like your journey? And then what was I don't want to use an aha moment. What was that click that said, listen, man, this is not serving me. I need to put it either behind me or under my feet and step on it and move forward. Was there an event?
Yeah, well, it really was. It was when I separated with my wife. I
was going to ask that.
It really was. It was that moment when I was like, hang on, like I've been very intentional and this is what I wanted and it still didn't work. What's going on here? And then systematically in those 3 months, I remember it very clearly. I could see two different paths. There was a path of, well, I could distract myself right now and just go be single bachelor, have fun, travel, do all these different things, what I did 10 years before. And that would be a lot easier in the short term, but the end path, that could be challenging. I could potentially be not love myself, not trust women, not be very nice to people, very egotistical. And I saw that path and I was like, oh, I don't know about that path. And then I saw this other path, which looked really confronting at the start. It was like, you're going to have to sit with yourself and discover everything and spend months by yourself and look at everything where you're at now and what could have contributed to that. The fact that I hadn't spoken to my father for 18 years, there was resentment of my mother, there was body complexes. And I went, if I'm faced that, perhaps on the other end, I'd love myself. I could find a new partner. I could potentially be dad. I could be really kind and help people. And it was pretty clear when I looked at those two paths, well, there was really only one option because I want to live a really full and happy life. So that was my moment, but there was a number of little moments in that time.
Absolutely.
As well.
Right. So, you know, when you're starting to work with people over there at Financially Happy Movement and they kind of come to you maybe in a discovery moment or whatnot, is there any secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, that you use to help them maybe locate and find their blind spots?
Yeah, there is a lot. So big exercise that we do is called your money story. And we get into their money story. And the money story is the combination of their family of origin, of how did their influences as a child, what did they experience, what did they hear, how did that influence some of their decision making of the rest of life, and then also a timeline of all their events of what do they remember from like 0 to 5, 5 to 10 about their money and what were the influences. And through that, they can get clear, what are their beliefs, what are their thoughts, what are their behaviors, and what are their feelings towards money. And when they look at it, they realize, oh, wow, I haven't really been consciously making these decisions at all. I'm just a byproduct of my experiences and my upbringing. And through that, they have a real aha moment because they're like, what has been serving you here? And some of your money story has been serving you. What hasn't been serving you? And how would you like to change that? And you do that exercise and they're just like, wow. We also have this incredible tool called the Money Saboteurs quiz. So we've done think of a personality test. We've done a personality test of all the saboteurs that show up with money. So there's things like the child, the procrastinator, the gambler, the compensator. And we've got 12 different money saboteurs. And they do this really awesome psychometric quiz, which is very detailed and it's got a lot of research into it. And then they go, here are the top 3 saboteurs. And these are the behaviors, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs associated to them. And they're like, oh, wow, that explains a lot about my life.
I love it. So which is true, and I saw that on your website. It's a free test to take, right?
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful. So when you're starting to work with people, Finnian, and you've lived that path, you've walked that way, you know, and not so much reinvented yourself, but you leveled up from where you were. Mm-hmm. Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
It's funny. I often say when I do a question, I go, what is the question that you do not want me to ask you? And that's where you get really meaty. Because then they realize, okay, they're going to a level of, it's not the surface level. They're trying to impress me. It's right. All right. I know that I know this is the area I need to work on, but I'm just scared to be asked. So I would say that it's like throw that question back to themselves and they get them.
No, that's awesome. You rocked it out. You put the stopper on it, which is because in that discovery, you actually care and you're really trying to pull it out of them. And I love that. So what do you think then makes, let's go back. Are you women only?
So we're not women only, but we really focus on them. And there's a few reasons for that is that one, the financial industry has not communicated to women very well traditionally. And there's a lot of inequality. There's a feeling of like they're not resonating with them, not communicating on the level, and they don't feel safe. So we believe that if we empower females in general, and we definitely still work with men, but it's like we're focused there because we can really nail our message, then naturally that will flow on through the rest of society anyway, because women really are the decision makers when we look at a lot of it in stereotypical ways, and they influence us. And I really want to up level the vibrational frequency that they have with money.
Love that. That's amazing, because you're right. They do they drive a lot of things. They might not be in the face of the forefront, but they do drive. And I appreciate you helping out with that. So then breath work. I read a little bit about breath work with you. Is that an important part of the aspect of financially happy? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back. We just dropped out. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. We can edit it out. So right. breath work. I'm really into breath work. I'm a Wim Hof guy and also a Troy Casey guy. Are you a big believer in breath work to help you realize that higher state of consciousness?
Breath work is my favorite tool of life. I see it as a spiritual tool, a physical tool, mental tool, and emotional tool. It really hits all of our well-being. And I feel like what it does is that it empowers us, because we realize breath is one of these beautiful mechanisms in our body where it happens unconsciously, but you can also drive it consciously. And unfortunately, most of the time we just do it unconsciously.
Right.
And when you think about it, breath is life. It's life force. It's literally the connection we have to life, to source. So if we can harness that and get it through our body, one, it can cure most illnesses.
Yes,
it can get us into altered states where we can actually identify that we're more than just our ego, our personality, and we have a beautiful connection to source or divine or the universe, whatever we have.
Right.
And it's incredible liberating of energy. It gets energy in motion back again. So the whole idea of emotion is energy in motion. And unfortunately, emotions get stored in our body. And then we start questioning ourselves and worrying, but we just got to get it flowing and just get it out of us. Dude. So I love it. It's been transformation for myself and also for everyone I work with too.
Dude, I've been doing breath work for 5 years now. Like, started in pranayama and my Ashtanga yoga instructor, right? But now, I've been doing a little bit more. I got to actually meet Wim Hof, and Troy Casey, and actually do some breath work. And the one thing that I'm getting better at now is being able to hit that pelvic floor with my breath. And really, that's amazing. So if the squad of listeners that you're listening, trust me, get with my buddy Finnian here and get with this financially happy, because it's not just about money. Don't let the name of the company, quote unquote, fool you in a sense. But he starts at the origin. We know that, you can live 3 weeks without food. You can live a week without water if you had to, but you can't live more than 3 minutes without breath. And that's how important the breath is. And Finnian, have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Love it.
Okay. So
I think we're finally getting there now, aren't we?
Yes.
It's got on that level.
Exactly. Let's get into that DeLorean with Marty McFly. All right, man. Let's go back to the 22-year-old Finnian Kelly. What kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop? That's what we call him here at Time to Shine Today. But what kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on the 22-year-old Finnian to maybe help him level up, shorten his learning curve, and blast through just a little bit quicker?
It's quite interesting. It's actually going to be a counter act to what you just said about a little bit quicker. It'd actually be saying, go a little bit slower. Like that's something I'd be saying is go a little bit slower. Like life is actually quite long and you don't need to rush through it.
Right.
So that'd be definitely one. Another one would be like really kind to your body. As you know, like military, we're pretty brutal to our bodies, and
yes, sir.
It's very important. And just I would just keep reassuring is like, you are just love, you're perfect just the way you are, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and just keep dropping in with self-compassion. I think self-compassion has been one of the most powerful tools I've learned. It's about learning that choosing to use love over fear as a motivator is so much more powerful. We think that fear is a motivator for us, But when you look at it, we got rid of corporal punishment in schools in 1960 because we realized it doesn't work. So why is it that we use fear as a motivator for ourselves all the time? We literally do corporal punishment on ourselves all the time. And that's something I used to do. And now I've transitioned to a place of love. And it doesn't stop me from doing things. I actually do a lot more and achieve a lot more, but it's from a beautiful, powerful, strong place.
Love it. Love it. So how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your life date and your expiration date, like that, like life date and death date. How do you want that little dash remembered, Finnian's dash?
Intentionality. Like that's the big one. Like my actual parent company is intentionality.com, and financially happy is one element of there. And it's this idea that you can really be, if you can decide how you want to feel and then go about creating the circumstances and the experiences to actually feel that, that's living a life of intentionality. And there's really four main pathways. There's direction, which is all about where am I going and what's the path I'm on. There's the prosperity path, which is all about financially happy. It's about having more money and feeling good about it. There's the love path, which is more love in our relationships. And then there's the well-being path. And the idea is that you need to be intentional in each one of those areas. But the cool thing is you enter through one doorway, and if you become more intentional in the relationship with money, you'll be surprised that you'll have more intentionality with your love and with your well-being, and it flows through. And that's really what I want to be remembered for. And that's how I show up each day. I look at it each day as a new opportunity to live a life of intentionality.
You know what I love about what you just said, brother, is that you didn't say balance. You know what I'm saying? Like balance is zero. I'm hearing more harmony, almost like a jazz band. Like direction is the guitar, prosperity is the trumpet. You got love is the drums, and well-being is the guitar. And if one of them is out of tune, it throws off that harmony, right? Yeah, it's like, dude, you want to pull them together, but your strongest one can help pull the other three up, right? Did I hear that right?
I love that. I'm going to use that if that's all right, Scott. I love it. Harmony. Yeah, man. Sometimes it's the drums have got a star. It's their song. And so you focus more in that area, and then it's time for the trumpet. I love that.
And I got that. James Arthur Ray's a friend of mine. He was in the movie The Secret, and I got that from him, so I want to give him all the credit. We all regurgitate stuff. We pull forward. Oh, yeah. But I love it. We don't have the
original thought in our body, Scott.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Hey, Finnian, what keeps you up at night?
I don't have that much, to tell you the truth. I've become really good with sleep, and I'm very good at shutting off at the end of the day. So I have a very intentional practice, an evening routine, which helps me just sort of rewrite it and go, tomorrow's a new day. So that definitely helps. The only thing that sometimes slips in is this idea of being a dad, and like, am I in a position where I've like cleared enough of my stuff to be in that place? And I definitely experienced that. Like I thought I was ready to have a child in my 20s. And if I had, looking back, I would have been like, wow, I would have passed on a lot of stuff. So that's probably a little bit of a back driver there.
I feel you. So then who has had, just quickly on this answer, who's had the most profound impact on your life?
It's interesting. Like, I'd have to say my dad, who I didn't really have a relationship with because I was running away from a hostile relationship, and of course that influenced me.
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah.
My ex-wife and my current partner, they would really be the three. Because I love
it that you're pulling it forward in an awesome way and not in a negative way. So that's awesome, brother. So what is your then definition of a life well lived?
A life well lived is that you get to the end and you have no regrets. And what that means is it's not going to mean that you don't have hard challenges and you don't do stupid things, but you've processed it, and you've had the uncomfortable conversations, and you've got to a place where you feel in harmony with life and really in love with life. Like that's success for me. Is, are you in love with life? It doesn't mean you have to have this level of materialistic achievements. You don't have to have done this. It's just like, you could be just a simple being in love with life, and that's awe to me. You see those people and you're just like, wow, like you rock them, man.
Yeah. Dude, but I'm the same way, man. I like have an awesome woman. I have an awesome pit bull. I got a paddle board. I got my jiu-jitsu, and that's all I really need, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the rest of it is icing. I love that. So, squad, we are going to wind things down just a little bit with my good friend Finnian Kelly from the Financially Happy Movement, just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Hey, we are back with my good friend Finnian Kelly, and I have it's almost like a tongue twist a little bit with Finnian Kelly from the Financially Happy Movement, so I kind of fall over my F's. But listen, man, we're going to move into our leveling up lightning round, okay? And you and I could talk 15 to 20 minutes an hour on each one of these questions. We got 5 seconds. 5.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
So no explanations, Finnian. Just fire the answer to me. All right, brother?
Right.
Let's do this. Let's level up. Finny, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Live in the now.
Yes. Sure. One of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
I set an intention every morning while I smile to activate my happiness.
Love it. Love it. So other than your own website, financiallyhappy.com, and of course, timetoshinetoday.com, my shameless plug, what's another website Finnian goes to level up?
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So if I'm in my doldrums, you see it, you're like, the energy from Fergie's just not right. And what book are you handing me to help me level up?
The Power of Now.
Yeah, there you go, baby. You've said that a lot. Live in the now. Love this. Love this. Finnian, what's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Thumbs up.
I love it. I love it.
I'm an Aussie.
That's right. So don't lie to me on this one. Do not friggin' lie to me, all right?
I won't.
Physically, if you can stay one age for the rest of your life, keep all the knowledge you've gained and continue to garner knowledge, what age physically would you stay?
I think about 28.
Yeah, dude, I always say 28 to 32. So, and I'm coming up on 50 next year. So I would take this just because it's a lot easier for me to get out of bed at that age, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So your favorite charity or organization you like to give your time or money to?
I give a lot, different ones. There's Realities for Children in Boulder.
Love it, love it, love it. Last question, and you can elaborate just a little bit on this one, but what's the best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
60s for me.
All right, all right.
Just stole
Great
beats.
music, man.
Yeah.
Great music. Finnian, how can we find you, brother?
So I've created a link for you guys, intentionality.com/podcast. There's some awesome resources there for you, and that'll be the best way. And then you'll see me and get on the email list.
Did you already do the Facebook masterclass?
I have, but we have new ones.
Make sure you keep me informed of that, because I got a squad of about 90,000 subscribers. Be very interested in what you're going to be talking about, brother. Okay.
Awesome.
So leave us, if you don't mind, with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
I would say get on your path and choose to live a life of intentionality.
Dude, you've said intentional mindfulness a lot, and I freaking love that. And squad, you just got a free masterclass with my new good buddy, my Tazzy Devil, who, you know what? He ran away from his childhood and just tried to think that it was just going to disappear, but he's pulling a lot of that forward until he really got his, lack of a better term, shit together. You know, now he believes it's progress, not perfection. You know, be intentional with your actions. You know, he's going to want to know your money story, your family of origin, your timeline of events, and the thoughts and behaviors towards money. If he can get those, he can really help you level up. So get to his website after you're done listening to the show and take that quiz. And he's going to have the money saboteurs, or just the saboteurs that is holding you back. He wants you to really go slower. And we use here a little quote from John Wooden, the awesome basketball coach. He says, be quick, but don't hurry. Take your time. Be ready. Be mindful. He says that a lot. You know, he's somebody that's kind to their body. He wants you to be kind to your body, and that's physically. You know, have self-affirmations and self-compassion with yourself. You know, use love over fear. And also live with intention. You know, you have the 4 different, you have direction, prosperity, love, and well-being. And they want to get those into harmony. That doesn't want balance. Balance, as we always say here, time to shine today, is 0. We want harmony. Liken it to that jazz band that we always talk about. He wants you to live your life and you get to the end with no regrets. He wants you to go through the hurdles. He wants you to plow through them. If you're going to fail forward. Live in a harmonic life. He wants you to live in the now, and he wants you to stay mindful at all times. And Finnian, dude, you're so humble, yet you're so hungry. You level up your health. You level up your wealth. You're fantastic. Thank you for coming on. You earned your varsity letter here at Time to Shine today, Varsity Squad. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott. Loved it.
Talk soon, brother.